Good morning, everybody. How are you going today? Good, thanks. I thought I'd throw a little Friday freebie out for everyone. And I wanted to do a little bit on ozone, and especially in regards to depuration. Now, I saw an article on LinkedIn this morning from the Freshwater Institute talking about depuration, biofilms, the chemicals that cause off flavour and things like that. And they have also done a lot of work with ozone, and they have shown, as has been shown time and time and time and time again, that ozone reduces overall the bacteria and biofilms within the system that will cause off flavors, MIB, geosmin, etc., etc. And not only that, it increases growth rate, increases carrying capacity, etc., etc. Now, so what ozone is, obviously, the majority of people know ozone, oxygen is O2, ozone is O3. So what we do, it happens in the atmosphere when lightning and electricity passes through the atmosphere, and oxygen gets converted to ozone. That's why we have the ozone layer. But the same thing happens in a corona discharge or a UV system. Essentially, the oxygen gets split, and those O atoms join other O2s. O2 atoms, those other O molecules join the O2 atoms to make O3. That extra oxygen atom is very unstable, and when it comes into contact with bacteria, viruses, protozoa, organics, heavy metals, etc., contaminants, etc., etc., it breaks off and oxidizes them, just like iron turns into iron oxide or rust. Okay, incredibly efficient filtration system, and one that, in my opinion, almost every system should be running in a controlled fashion in the right applied way. Now, what ozone is going to do is it is going to keep your pipelines cleaner, it is going to keep your tank walls cleaner, it's going to reduce the overall total organic carbon within the system, which is what these heterotrophic opportunistic bacteria that can cause off flavour feed on. Okay, they live in biofilms, but not all biofilms are bad. Biofilms in the biofilter are exactly what we're looking for here. But it reduces the amount of organic carbon within the system, and kills off, biofilms, and keeps pipes cleaner. The other thing that we should be focusing on is obviously cleaning the inside of the pipes. I constantly get asked why I put drains at the end of pipelines, valves. So why are you doing that? Well, that's to clean your pipelines. Why would you clean your pipelines? Well, why wouldn't you? If you're not plunging your pipes at least once a week, and in a heavily loaded system probably even more often, that's where your off flavour is coming from, and that's where the majority of your issues are going to come from. The other thing with ozone is that you can either pass the ozone through a UV sterilizer and destruct it and create a advanced oxidation process. That will create hydroxyl radicals, which are excellent at stripping biofilms from the inside of pipes and things like that. Nanobubbles will also do the same thing. Passing hydrogen peroxide through either UV or ozone or both will create hydroxyl radicals, which will do the same thing as well. Now, going the other way, if you didn't want to go down that path, purging fish, taking them out of the system. Now, if you're putting them into a system with ozone and you arguably have very low or undetectable levels of off flavors, then, purging probably isn't that much of a concern, issue, or requirement. Now, there is the argument to purge the hind gut and things like that, and etc., etc., and just clean them out and give them a bit of. But if you were to eliminate the feed from that particular tank or cohort, that's going to cut down the amount of organic carbon, food, and nitrogen going into the system substantially. If you were then to either up the ozone to give the system a bit more of a clean while simultaneously reducing the organic carbon and also just eliminating the food from the fish that you're purging altogether, the ozone has then a flow-on effect. Okay, there's less organic carbon within the system for bacteria to feed off straight away, so the ozone starts to scavenge. Okay, starts to look for places that it can oxidize. All right. Or, for lack of a better term, the ozone goes further. All right. So you have an extra cleaning ability. It gives your system a bit of a clean out. It cuts down on the amount of organic carbon within the system, which reduces biofilms of opportunistic bacteria that may produce off flavors. Then you have the circumstance where cleaning up the amount of organic carbon and cleaning up the waste in the pipes, the biofilms in the pipes, etc., and a lower amount of waste overall means that your biofilter can actually work better. Now, when your biofilter is working better, that means that what the ozone does is it reduces the thickness of the biofilms, it reduces the organic carbon, which reduces the heterotrophic growth within the biofilms on your biofilter media, which maintain a thinner, uh, more healthy layer of biofilm with nitrifying bacteria in it. Your nitrifying bacteria and the other bacteria within the biofilm then scavenge more organics from the system as they're broken down or, as the system flows through. So not only do you reduce the amount of food and organic carbon going in, but your biofilter starts to pick up extra. So you've got not one thing, now two things, biologically and chemically cleaning your system, reducing the amount of off flavors within the system. Now, I can confidently say that people that use either part or all of that approach, that also apply ozone for clear water systems. I'm not talking just to treat the amount of food going into the system. I'm talking, 30 grams per kilo of food per day. That will result in a clear water system as well as an incredibly low amount of organic carbon and heterotrophic growth within the system overall. And I can confidently say that people that run those sort of systems do not need to depurate for very long at all for all of those reasons I've just mentioned. Now, if you are in a production system, keeping your pipes clean and keeping biofilms at bay is obviously very important just for growth and, biomass calculations and oxygen calculations and things like that. This is not something to be ignored even if you're in a production system that isn't purging. Okay? Whatever you would like to believe, purging does produce a better fish and a better end product for aquatic life. And ozone does produce a better end product, period, and better water quality and more security for you and better system performance and higher stocking densities, etc., etc., etc. I could go on. But yes, it is something that everyone should be utilizing. I am always happy to help people reach their potential with ozone. And I can 100% say that over the thousands and thousands and thousands of ozone applications that I've helped people with, helped design, sold equipment for, etc., etc., I can say that I could probably count on one hand the issues or unhappy customers that I've had with ozone, and that might be because of a bad experience before or whatever it might be. It is an incredibly powerful supplement to add to your system. It needs to be controlled. Pre-treatment of air needs to happen and needs to be heavily, heavily, heavily considered. But if you do all those things and do it correctly, the results far outweigh the value of the investment. I'm telling you, you will notice lower death rates, lower mortalities, better growth rates, cleaner systems, less cleaning and less maintenance for you, better end product, less deaths after delivering product to customers, just live seafood holding systems, especially, and live seafood holding systems that run ozone, are a prime example. If anyone would like help with ozone, advice on ozone, sizing of ozone, anything like that, I'm more than happy to help. Ozone contact chambers, ozone contact tanks, dwell tanks, degassing tanks, destruction tanks, destruction with UV, anything like that. We are definitely moving forward I am definitely moving forward at BTA with design of standalone AOP systems, as well as ozone systems, ozone reactors, oxygen and ozone contactors, etc., etc. Anyone that would be interested in collaborating on any of those projects, please get in contact with me. I would well and truly be interested in having a chat. And anyone who's running Ozone, yeah, keep on going. Obviously, you guys know the benefits of it. Anyone who isn't plunging their pipes, I urge you to please plunge your pipes. You will be amazed at the biofilm growth in them if you're not running Ozone, and you're running an organically loaded system. It will shock you. And all of that is sucking up oxygen, producing problems. Okay, plunge your pipes and make sure your system's clean, because the areas that you can't see are the areas where waste and biofilm and crud build up, and that's where the problems come from. Hydrogen sulfide, off flavor, all of these things are not to be messed with. Everyone have a great Friday and a great weekend. If you are trading over this weekend, have a fantastic weekend's trade. If you are unlucky enough to be on watch for any systems, sea cages, ponds, etc., any technicians, pond jockeys, any of you guys out there, I hope that your weekend is uneventful. And if something goes wrong, again, may the pumps come back on quickly for you. Now, a last bit of advice, actually, and I was actually thinking about this. I was thinking about being a fisherman out here, coming from the coast and obviously having really only access to freshwater fish now. And there's a lot of carp and a lot of quality carp being caught. And I hear that Sydney Fish Market's actually, selling carp now and 10 tons a week or something like that. Which is fantastic, which, it comes back to purging as well. People say, even with purging, they don't taste very good and things like that. And I was thinking, well, have any of these people that are telling me they don't taste good ever tried carp? And I've never tried carp, and I always repeat this stuff, and I don't know whether or not they taste any good or not. So the next time I get one out of a fast flowing stream, I think I would be remiss to not at least try it. The old story of, I've got a recipe for you. What you do is you catch the carp and you take it home and you get a rock preferably out of the same river, and put it in the bathtub and fill it up and, drain it and fill it up and drain it and fill it up. Let the carp swim around for a week with the rock in the bathtub, draining and filling, draining and filling, draining and filling. And then after that, what you do is you get the carp and you throw the carp away and you eat the rock. I don't know if that's true anymore. I don't know if it was never true, obviously, but I don't know if that analogy can be used anymore. I think they've just been always viewed as a dirty fish, and therefore one person's bad experience, just like one person's bad experience with off-flavouring farmed fish, can produce, myths or conceptions that may not be true or may not be the actual norm for the fish itself. So I'm going to keep an open mind next time I catch carp out of a decent flowing river that's not too muddy and things like that. And in the meantime, everyone, have a think about Ozone and have a great weekend. See ya.